Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I've been using iOS 18.3 for the past couple of days. And in this video, I'm going to give you my experience running iOS 18.3. I'm going to talk about its new features, how the battery life has been, and the Geekbench score towards the end of the video. But first, one minor change to YouTube that I do want to mention. They have changed the word community tab. They changed the community tab for it to now say post. It's a small change, but I wanted to mention it. I think I've noticed this changed. I noticed this changed yesterday. Now then, as far as iOS 18.3 and its new features, well, the first feature I want to mention is if we go to the lock screen, press and hold, we scroll to the far right, we now have those new Unity wallpapers. Here we have the multicolored Unity wallpapers on a black background. Then we have gray Unity wallpapers on a black background, black Unity wallpaper on a white background, multicolored ones on a red background, some on a green background, and some on a yellow background. If I go to this one here, it looks good on the lock screen. However, the one thing I will say, I don't really like the fact that when you swipe up, it kind of looks like it's getting darker. I don't think some of the older Unity wallpapers do that. It still looks good on the home screen. It just looks a little strange when it's getting darker. I prefer it to stay light. Sort of the wallpaper is dimming on the lock screen of iOS 18.3. If we go into the calculator app and we put in 12 plus 56 equals, we can now hit this button, the equal sign, as many times as we want. And we can repeat the last mathematical operation for as long as we want to do so within this update. Also, the Home app has robot vacuum support. However, there is a bug I do want to mention. For some reason, some of my contact posters in the phone app, I'm not going to go into them as I don't want to show any of the numbers, but some of the contact posters are appearing blank, and I had to remake one of them due to that fact. So that's one bug in iOS 18.3. And for some reason, every time I go into the phone app, it sometimes takes a little bit of storage. Also, the bug where I go into my widget panel and tint my icons, my Canary Mail widget still is showing a white box. That bug is still happening with iOS 18.3. It happened in iOS 18.2, and it's still here. Now, as far as my performance running iOS 18.3, this isn't really a large update. Going into apps works good. We go into the app library and we do some scrolling. One thing I did forget to mention, there's updates to Apple Intelligence where you have notifications that are in italic size. Although the only thing I can tell from that by looking at the pictures is the logo for it, where it shows the arrow with two lines pointing out of it. Other than that, I'm not able to really tell that difference. But as far as my battery health running this update, well, this iPhone is still at 85%. If I go into my battery health here, I just started using this device earlier today. So I have 1 hour, 23 minutes screen on time, 26 minutes screen off time. Yesterday I had 7 hours, 18 minutes screen on time, and 42 minutes of screen off time. Now, I do want to mention my storage because sometimes that does like to jump around. I have 13.83 gigabytes. Hopefully, when I upload this video, my storage will go back up. Now, as far as my Geekbench score, Today is February 1st, so it is a new month, but I've still ran it, and I will share it on my iPad as well. We scored 2084 for single core, 2754 for multi-core. Now, if I take a look at last week's Geekbench result, I scored 2046 single core, 4495 for multi-core. Now then, I didn't really airdrop last week's history to my Photos app, but I could quickly do that right now. But on my iPad, we scored 2097 for single core, 5126 for multi-core. I'm going to go ahead and airdrop last week's history here. So if we go ahead and see how fast airdrop will work. Of course, it made duplicates. For last week, we scored 2099 single core, 4963 for multi-core. As far as what to expect next from Apple, well, as I mentioned, it's February 1st. I would have thought that we would have seen iOS 18.4 betas released, but we still haven't seen that yet. But we could see it probably the week of February 3rd. We're going to have betas of iOS 18.4, and then I would expect the release of the update probably sometime next month in March. Next month, I'm also going to do a video where it's going to be 3 years since I've had my iPad Air 4th generation. But I'll talk about that at a later date, as I have to make that video on March 19th. So we still have quite a while until then. We can also have WWDC invites towards the end of March for June, where we will see iOS 19. Now, if I get to upgrade my iPhone, I will install the betas on this particular device, as this will become my beta testing device. However, if that doesn't happen and I still keep this phone, then I will continue to leave it on a stable version of software. As far as anything else, well, that's it for iOS 18.3. Quite a nice update. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.